With the release of Clone Wars Season 7 Episode 7 Dangerous Debt on Disney+, the big question that everyone was wondering is, who are the Mandalorians that appear on Obadiah? Many of you that are familiar with the Clone Wars and Rebels shows will have immediately recognised two of the characters, but for those of you who don't know, I'm going to break down their identities. So we're going to dive deep into the histories of two of the confirmed Mandalorians that appear in Clone Wars Season 7 Episode 7, and also speculate on who the mysterious unnamed Mandalorian might be. Before we get into it, remember to smash the subscribe button to be notified every time I release my recap plus explainer video on the Clone Wars Season 7 episodes as soon as they release. The appearance of the three cloaked Mandalorians was the standout of the episode for many of us, but who exactly were these three Mandalorians? They belong to an elite unit of fighters from the group Deathwatch known as the Night Owls. The Night Owls initially held unbreakable loyalty for Deathwatch under the leadership of Pre Vizsla, opposing the pacifist philosophy of Duchess Satine Kryze of Mandalore during the Clone Wars. Things quickly changed after Darth Maul's formation of the Shadow Collective, who were a collection of the galaxy's most notorious crime and underworld clans, brought together under the leadership of Maul. Maul organised the clans into an invasion force who were able to capture the planet Mandalore. Their initial plan was to set Deathwatch up as the saviours of Mandalore who would protect their people from invasion by the Shadow Collective and be viewed as heroes by the citizens of the planet. Deathwatch would then have gained the support of the population to take control of Mandalore from Duchess Satine. As Maul and his invasion force reached the royal palace on Mandalore, Maul broke his agreement with Deathwatch, challenging the current holder of the Darksaber and leader of Deathwatch to a duel, which under Mandalorian tradition could not be refused. The tradition also stated, should the holder of the Darksaber be defeated in a duel, the winner of that duel would become the ruler of the Mandalorian people. Darth Maul eventually of course defeated Pre Vizsla, taking the rulership of Mandalore and possession of the Darksaber. This brings us back to Clone Wars Season 7 Episode 7. The first Mandalorian we see in the episode is confirmed by the end credits to be Bo Katan Kryze, who is in the centre of the group with her distinctive blue trimmed helmet and cloak. She is the sister of Duchess Satine Kryze of Mandalore, but fiercely opposed her view that the Mandalorians should become pacifists to avoid the constant bloodshed and war of their past. Because of her opposing views, she joined the radical Mandalorian group Deathwatch, who sought to revive the warring ways of their ancestors. I'm sure you already know that this is the group that went on to rescue Din Djarin from the Mandalorian as a child during the Clone Wars. Bo Katan also led the elite Night Owls group of warriors within Deathwatch. She was present at Maul's duel with Pre Vizsla and witnessed his death. When Maul declared himself the new leader of Deathwatch and Mandalore, Bo Katan refused to accept his rule because he was an outsider. After this event, the elite group of Night Owls split in two, with half pledging their loyalty to Maul as the new leader of Mandalore, and the other pledging their allegiance to Bo Katan because they would never allow an outsider to be in command of Deathwatch. They would also never stand for an outsider to lead Mandalore. During the events of Star Wars Rebels, Bo Katan eventually took control of the Darksaber after proving herself as a worthy leader for the people of Mandalore. She was handed the Darksaber by Sabine Wren, who didn't believe herself to be ready to lead Mandalore at that time. The other Mandalorian that we see on the left of Bo Katan is Ursa Wren, mother of Sabine Wren from the Rebels TV series. I'm so excited to see Ursa Wren in the Clone Wars animation style, so hopefully she'll actually take her helmet off in the next episode. Ursa Wren is also a member of House Vizsla and a member of Deathwatch. According to Dave Filoni, Ursa Wren was likely present at the duel between Pre Vizsla and Darth Maul as one of the Mandalorians who sided with Bo Katan in the firefight that ensued directly after. Following Maul's shock takeover of the Deathwatch, Ursa Wren and the rest of Clan Wren deserted the Deathwatch and instead pledged themselves to Bo Katan and the Night Owls, opposing Maul's rule of Mandalore. During the Imperial era, Ursa's daughter Sabine Wren was enlisted in the Imperial Academy, where she developed weapons that were eventually used on her own people. Most notably of these was the arc pulse generator, codenamed Duchess, which was capable of reacting with the Beskar metal within the armour of all Mandalorians, incinerating the wearer of the armour. Her daughter's involvement in the creation of this weapon placed disgrace on the family and the entirety of Clan Wren. Clan Wren was viewed by the other clans as traitors and allies to the Empire. After the Empire, led by Imperial Mandalorian Tiber Saxon, had attempted to use the arc pulse generator on Mandalore, the Wren clan redeemed their legacy by helping to destroy the weapon. After placing the Darksaber and leadership of Mandalore in the hands of Bo Katan, Ursa Wren and the entire Wren clan pledged their allegiance to Bo Katan as the new leader of Mandalore. As a side note, I did see many people thinking that the cloaked Mandalorian was the armourer from Mandalorian Season 1, but the credits did confirm that this was in fact Ursa Wren. On top of this, based on the helmet that the Armorer wore in Season 1 of The Mandalorian, she very likely sided with Darth Maul instead of Bo Katan. The Mandalorians who sided with Darth Maul after his takeover of Mandalore changed their helmets to include horns as a tribute to their new leader. The third Night Owl that we see on Obadiah is a little more mysterious. The first possibility is that it is the father of Sabine Wren and husband of Ursa Wren. This would make a lot of sense as his wife is right there beside him, possibly conducting business important to the Wren family. The only thing that detracts from this possibility is that he wasn't really a warrior in any way. Like his daughter, he preferred to take part in art and culture more than fighting and combat. Another possibility is that it is Fen Rao, a Mandalorian who initially sided with the Empire in the Imperial era but later joined the Rebels. He was active during the Clone Wars and was loyal to the Republic throughout the war before his turn to the Empire. The Mandalorian we see in this shot is wearing a green or grey helmet, it's hard to tell in that lighting, but Fen Rao wore blue Mandalorian armour. Although it's possible he may have changed the colour of his armour after the fall of the Republic, many Mandalorians keep their armour unchanged as a tradition, and Ursa Wren is wearing the same yellow as her clan colour in Rebels. This leaves us with one obscure but very possible potential identity for this Mandalorian. As we know, a big intention on the part of Disney for bringing back the Clone Wars was to show the Siege of Mandalore, and to make a lot of setups for big events that would take place in the Mandalorian TV series. One of the people seen in the Mandalorian Enclave wore a green helmet with a very similar style and markings to the Night Owls as seen on the Mandalorian here. In addition to this, both the helmet of this Mandalorian and the one in the Mando TV series are in the female style, possibly suggesting that they are either the same person or a descendant of this Mandalorian. If it was actually the same person, they would be decently old by the events of the Mandalorian TV series, so it's possible that this is a descendant of that person. Other than that, let me know who you think it could be. Could it even be one of the villain Mandalorians that we see appear in Rebels, or will it just be an unnamed member of the Night Owls? Either way, the whole Siege of Mandalore arc is definitely intended to tie all of the Mandalorian stories together to the Mandalorian TV series, and connect them with the story of Din Djarin. I'm willing to bet that we see Bo Katan, Sabine and many other well-known Mandalorians in Season 2, as we know that Moff Gideon now has control of the Darksaber, so it's pretty clear that Bo Katan is either dead at the hands of Gideon, or will show up to confront him somewhere in the series. The Siege of Mandalore will almost certainly provide some huge revelations going into the Mandalorian Season 2. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to hit the subscribe button to be notified every time I release a recap on the Clone Wars Season 7, every time a new episode releases. Thanks again, cheers guys.